Hey everyone, it's Amy at Dragonspit Apothecary. We are going to do our weekly oil oracle card reading today. We do them every Friday. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss any of them. We do them every Friday and we do them on every full moon. And if you ever want your own personal reading, I'm always happy to do those. All you have to do is go over to dragonspitapothecary.com and book time with me. And through those readings, the personal ones, of course, you get a blend of the oils from your reading. So you actually get to apply them. So that's really cool too. All right, so this week, as always, I've already pulled the cards. Wow, you guys. Oh boy. We've got some really deep cards this week. I personally love them. I think they're very... when I think of what it means to be grounded and centered and have this wise peace about you, these would be the oils that I would think of naturally go with that kind of feeling, right? So, and it's a very comforting, peaceful experience, right? And it feels good. So, the cards we have this week are really going to speak to that and our ability to tap into that where we need to use it in our life. So as always, we're going to start with the first card, which is what we need this weekend. And I always like to think of this card as coming off of the week, which I know a lot of us are still in this self-isolation situation, which I know a lot of people have been doing it longer than us, and some are starting to ease back into real living. And it's just been a weird world lately. So I think this card is very appropriate, given the current events. And I think it will help us in a great deal think of it in those terms, okay? So this card is Douglas Fir. It's so beautiful. Oh, I just get calm just looking at this card. So Douglas Fir is the card for respect and wisdom. Now, who hasn't had to have a little bit of that during these past few weeks, right? So Douglas Fir is considered the grandfather oil. And it's, of course, a pine tree. It's very tall and regal. It's strong, it supports a lot of branches, and it's kind of that grandfatherly established tree in the forest. And he thinks before he acts, and he acts in the benefit of generations to come. So you can already tell he's kind of got he's old and wise, and he's the one that everyone goes to for advice, right? So this card is telling us that there's some area of our life that needs to be revisited with wisdom of our ancestors. We need to learn from our ancestors, those wise old people in our lives that give us that good sage advice, and we have something that we need to tap into that for, okay? And we need that connection, that inheritance and application of some very ageless advice, okay? And it's kind of like the fountain of our family. We've got to go to that and get things that will help us move forward now, okay? And we use this Douglas Fir wisdom and oil when we feel lonely or we've lost a connection to our roots. It's the connection to tradition, to, like I said, sage wisdom, classic. Christmas is another great way to, it's traditions and passed down generational things, right, that we pass on every generation to another. And it's those wise, I always think of this, the shaman in the TV shows and the wise person that lives in the woods, right? These are the people we go to when we need help. So this helps us kind of overcome self-destruction, self-absorption, realize that we're part of a bigger chain here, and that we have these rocks in our life that give us sustainability and give us, help us form our own legends in life. And of course, it relieves tension. When you feel wise about something and you know the right thing to do, even if it's challenging, you feel relief and you're not stressed out about it. You might be a little scared and nervous, and that's cool, but you're not scared. You're not unprepared, okay? And you overcome the emotions of it and deal with what you have to do. But you're flexible and you know to apply the right wisdom in the right moment. And it's kind of like the hero syndrome in the stories, where just that right little piece of information or that right little tool that someone gave them that they thought was meaningless, now all of a sudden saves the day and saves humanity, right? So this card is representing immeasurable depths of generational wisdom and knowledge that we have available to us. And it signifies our ancestors are showing us the way forward. Okay, so it's got a lot of the American Indian heritage associated with this type of wisdom we're looking for, that comes from nature, that comes from our generational ancestors. And it's here to remind us to let go of pain and guilt and sadness from the past. We can let that stuff go. Think of the teachings and the legacy that we're leaving behind, and ask ourselves if we're leaving a good example to our children and those that are going to come after us. Will they see us as one of these wise old sage people in their life down the road when they need to pull out the special pieces of whatever to help them with a difficult situation? So that's what this card is asking us to do. And I'm telling you, this is deep this weekend. So really put some thought to how this could work for you. And so the affirmation for this, like I said, I use doTERRA. I love their oils. The Douglas fir one is beautiful. Diffuse a little tonight when you go to bed. It's a great oil to use in your diffuser at nighttime. And as you kind of drift off and think about the wisdom in your life that's been passed down to you and what you want to pass down to others in your family, this is your affirmation. Today, I attract respect and gratitude for all that I am. Isn't that great? So that's for this weekend. Nice, beautiful card. Okay, next week. Now, that was a beautiful reading card we had for the weekend. A lot of that's going to apply to this next week. Okay, we're going to need to carry a lot of that forward because there's some complications going on in the world. There's complications in our relationships. We're just weirdness all around us. So the next card, and if you take what I just said about Douglas fir and you carry that forward with you, this next card is going to seem really appropriate and it's going to further support you. It's cedarwood. Okay, and this is the card of optimism and connection. Okay, and why that's important. Now, we just got done talking about ancestor wisdom and legacy things. Now we're talking about our connection even further with others. And like I said, sometimes conflicts happen in our closest relationships and those that we're around all the time. There's misunderstandings that come up. Certainly right now, because there's just so much scary things happening in the world. So when you think of cedarwood's optimism, obviously that's helping us see the positive that could come of this and how to use these lessons learned to make the world a better place and in our own lives as well, but also strengthening our connections with others, removing the noise and things that are around us, right? So that's why I think this plays very well with that Douglas fir card we just had. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about cedarwood here in just a second. Let me get to my notes about this. Okay, cedarwood. So again, this is about, it's a soft, warm wood. It's when you're feeling lonely. Again, that came up in Douglas fir card. And you need to acknowledge that your family and friends are there for you. So again, that connection to those closest to us, and that we don't do things alone. and that it helps with obviously anxiety. And we talked about that fear or that uncertainty. Well, again, when you've applied the wisdom of your family and your roots where you come from, that also helps in this situation. So again, your cedarwood is kind of carrying that forward for us, right? So this is the card of our tribe. Cedarwood is the card of our tribe, which is your family, your circle of roots around you that support you, your community. Again, this card supports positive, optimistic outlooks, connections with family and friends that are easy and healthy for us. Not all of those are healthy. As you guys know, there's bad apples in every bunch. But these are looking for the ones who really support us, love us, and uplift us when we need it, and help us kind of quickly overcome oversensitivity and personal relationship complexities. Pretty important note here. Cedarwood's obviously very good for concentration and focus, and it kind of helps bring about clarity into complex problems. So this means this card is speaking to us about some emotional strength that we need to build on and to overcome some relationship conflicts that may be going on in our life. And if we maybe are a little bit obsessive about those relationships and worried about the problems that it's experiencing right now, this card helps us overcome the feelings of betrayal, maybe not feeling like that relationship is honoring us or respecting our feelings about it. I'm sorry, there's like this really big truck that just pulled up. Okay, nonetheless, we're going on with some cedarwood here. This is asking us to keep things simple, okay? Because when you keep them simple, you're less likely to overcomplicate the matter and drag it out and make it something it's not, and you can find a clearer way to resolve problems, okay? And it means that there's some uncertainty around us, and this simplicity will help with that. So it's time for us to trust ourselves, and we will make the right decisions. All right, cedarwood. I think this is another great oil to diffuse. It's very calming. It's excellent for anxiety. And your affirmation for this is, I am willing to give and receive love into my life every day and in every way. So that's what we need next week. I think those two cards are beautiful together. So, we speak about what we need for the weekend and what we need for next week. I honestly would use both of these cards together for the weekend and next week. No need to use them separately in this situation. And I think this next card even proves that further. So ironic how these things come up. Because this one, I think, really ties them together. And that's why I said I would go ahead and just start using both of them starting this weekend and all through next week until you kind of feel like you're in that place of wisdom of your own knowledge, right? So from the universe, we got this beautiful blue tansy. This is one of my favorite oils. Love this oil. Oh. So this is a medicinal herb, and it has been used forever. It started with the Greeks, we believe, and it's a very freeing oil. It allows us to focus, but not get wound up into overthinking things. She has to do what she's got to do right now, but she's able to flow with it, right? She's not getting bogged down with complexities and complications. She's using her energy to balance things in her life and move in a way that feels natural. She is bringing a little fun and excitement to things that are kind of weighing us down or becoming stagnant and exhausting us and taking away our energy. And encouraging us to get up and act on our wisdom. Flow more and be less rigid. Okay, which sometimes we can be when we don't know what is going on or what's going to happen next. We kind of stick with what we know. This is telling us we know even more than we're admitting on the surface. Dig deep and you will find those answers. And this oil is associated with self-expression, creativity, and dreams. So this is talking about manifesting our thoughts into reality and our dreams into reality. and it's time for that change of scenery. It's okay to start working in that direction. So that's why I said these things all tie together, because, you know, we have now this deep wisdom that came from our Douglas fir, and ancestrally know what we need to draw on in that moment when we need to pull into that right hero. Oh, I got the perfect piece that I didn't know that I needed, and I can plug it in and the drawer's going to open. And we can keep things simple and figure out how to overcome some challenges and complications in our relationship to help us have healthy, positive things happen in our life with our relationships. And now we can proceed through the opening doors that we're starting to manifest and realize that we're on the right journey in life. That's why these 3 cards are so beautiful together. Oh my gosh, I'm so thrilled. So this one, I will tell you exactly how I use this oil. I put a drop on my big toe. Sounds weird, but it works. Your affirmation for this card: I allow my creative energy to flow freely. So if you don't use essential oils and you have questions about them, you can reach out to me. I highly recommend the doTERRA ones. I can show you how I fit them into my budget. I can show you which ones I use for what, and really offer you some natural support, which obviously you can always follow my blog and social media. I include lots of tips, recipes, and education around natural living. And when you do these things and you start to apply them in your life every day, that is where these things like these oracle cards really kind of align with what is happening in our lives very naturally, right? It starts to feel connected and we understand the bigger picture of things. So if you have questions about any of that, just reach out to me. You can leave comments on the video. You can go over to dragonspitapothecary.com. Be sure to follow me so you don't miss any of this information that's coming out, so I can help you live more naturally. All right, my friends, have a beautiful weekend, and we will talk again next week. Mwah.